Hello, my dear children. Today we are moving to a new chapter. Chapter name is Matter Around Us Pure? In our first chapter, we learned what is matter, characteristics of matter, etc. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the different types of substances, properties of these substances, and separation of different types of substances by using different methods. Okay, children. How do you judge whether milk, ghee, butter, salt, etc. that we buy from the market are pure? Have you ever seen the word pure written on the packs of these consumables? For a common person, pure means having no adulteration, right? But for a scientist, all these things are actually mixtures of water, fat, proteins, etc. When a scientist says that something is pure, it means that all the constant particles of that substance are the same in their chemical nature. That is, a pure substance consists of a single type of particle. In other words, we can say that a substance is pure single form of matter. Substances are divided into two types. One is pure substance and other one is mixtures. Mixtures we can also call it as impure substances. So types of substances, there are two, pure and impure, or you can use the word mixtures. We can say that most of the matter around us exists as mixtures of two or more pure components. Examples, seawater, minerals, etc. Then, what is a mixture? Mixtures are constituted by more than one kind of pure form of matter. Mixture contains more than one pure substance. There are different types of mixtures. One is homogeneous mixture, other one is heterogeneous mixture. Let us see what is homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. A homogeneous mixture has a uniform composition and has only one phase. It cannot be separated out physically. It has variable composition of alcohol and water. In this we know these things are mixed, so it is difficult to separate them by using any physical methods. Heterogeneous mixture. It has a non-uniform composition and has two or more phases. It can be separated out physically. Example, common salt and sand. Another example we can take as oil and water. We can easily separate them by any physical methods. Okay, now we learn about homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Depending upon the nature of the components, we can have different types of mixtures. Now, we will do an activity. For this, let's take some salt, milk, sand and water. First, let us dissolve some salt in water. Now, we will mix this. You can see salt dissolves in water. You can see salt completely dissolved in water. We can call it as a true solution. You know, we obtain a clear solution here. Now let me pass a beam of light through this solution. Next, we are going to mix sand in water. We will mix it now. Does it dissolve in water? Leave the mixture undisturbed for a few minutes. Sand do not dissolve in water. You know, when we left it undisturbed for a few minutes, sand particles settle down at the bottom of this glass. We can call this type of mixtures as suspension. Now let me pass a beam of light through this solution. Children, you have to learn the properties of true solution suspension separately. So I will explain it after the activity. Next, we are going to mix milk in water. We will mix it. We got another type of mixture now. We call it as colloidal solution. Here you can see it is the combination of milk and water. It's actually a heterogeneous mixture, but altogether it appears to be homogeneous. Now let us pass a beam of light through this solution. With the help of this activity, we learned what is a true solution, suspension and a colloidal solution. Okay, next we will learn the properties of these solutions separately. A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. A solution contains two components. One is a solute and other one is a solvent. I will explain this with an example. When salt added to water, we take salt in a very less quantity. Here we can take salt as solute. The solute salt, when it is added to water, it completely dissolves in water, where water acts as a solvent. Already we learned that we call water as a universal solvent because that particular component of that solution dissolves the other component in it, which is present in a larger quantity. Whereas solute is dissolved in the solvent, which always present in a smaller quantity. So this is about a solute and a solvent. We can see that when solute and solvent combines, we get solution. Solute plus solvent gives solution. Properties of a solution. A solution is also known as true solution since we get a clear solution. There are mainly four properties to be learned. Properties means specialties. First property is a solution is a homogeneous mixture. Second one, the particles of solutions are too small, so we cannot see by our naked eyes. Because of the small particle size, they do not scatter a beam of light. So the path of it is not visible in a solution. Here you can see the size of the particles are very tiny, so we cannot see that. And it never allows a beam of light to pass through it. And here the particles cannot be separated by using the physical method evaporation. Here the reason is that solute completely dissolves in solvent where we cannot see the solute particle. Example, salt dissolved in water. So we can say that a solution is stable. Next is concentration of a solution. What do you mean by concentration of a solution? Depending upon the amount of solute present in a solution, it can be called as dilute, concentrated or saturated solution. Here, dilute and concentrated are just comparative terms. Normally, we use dilute hydrochloric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid. Here, this indicates what is the concentration of that particular solution. Next is saturated solution. The definition is like this. At any particular temperature, a solution that has dissolved as much as solute as it is capable of dissolving is said to be a saturated solution. That is, when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, it is called a saturated solution. Children, I will give you an example. Imagine if we add 1 tablespoon of salt in a glass containing water. It completely dissolves in it, right? But the same more than 2 or 3 tablespoons of salt. Does it dissolve in the same glass of water? No, the solute can't dissolve completely. We can call it as unsaturated solution. I hope you understand the difference between saturated and unsaturated solutions. The concentration of a solution is the amount of solute present in a given amount of solution, or the amount of solute dissolved in a given mass or volume of solvent. That is, concentration of a solution equal to amount of solute divided by amount of solution. Children, here we have to do some calculation based on this part. There are various ways of expressing the concentration of a solution, but here we learn only 2 methods. That is mass by mass percentage and mass by volume percentage. I'll give you the equation to find mass by mass percentage of a solution. Equation is mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. And mass by volume percentage of a solution. There also you can see the same equation, mass of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Normally we use this equation in case of liquids. We have learned the equation to find mass by mass percentage and mass by volume percentage of a solution. Now let's practice a problem based on this. A solution contains 40 gram of common salt in 320 gram of water. Calculate the concentration in terms of mass by mass percentage of the solution. We already learned the equation as mass by mass percentage equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. Here, first we have to identify which is the solute and solvent part. So already I told you that solute normally it's having a less quantity. So here the 40 gram of common salt indicate the presence of solute and 320 gram of water indicate the presence of solvent. But the question you can see, in the equation it is given mass of solution. How can we find mass of solution? That also we already learned. Solute plus solvent gives solution. So to find the mass of solution, we have to add solute and solvent. Mass of solute is equal to 40 gram. Mass of solvent is equal to 320 gram. We know solute plus solvent gives a solution. Here also, to find mass of solution, we add solute and solvent. That is 40 plus 320 gives 360 gram. Here you can see we got mass of solution. We already learned the equation as mass by mass percentage of a solution is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. So here it comes as 40 divided by 360 into 100. When we divide this, we get here as 1 by 9, that is 100 into 1, 100, 100 by 9. We can divide this 100 by 9. You can see how I am dividing this. So here we are unable to divide, so we are putting a point here. Again 1 9s are 9. So you can see the value continues. So here we can stop it here. The answer will be 11.1%. So this is the way by which we find the concentration of a solution.